He can sting you as quick as a tank can shoot its armaments. And at the DC...
Come undisputed and things like that, but once he got it, he like, basically like, what the hell? And that's, you can see with Floyd too. Floyd really was like that too. He really...
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. are getting ready for their highly anticipated lightweight title fight on March 1st. However, something unexpected happened during their media appearances. While they were speaking to the press, they were interrupted by a surprise guest. This unexpected visitor turned their media session into something no one saw coming, adding an element of surprise to the lead-up to their big match.
1, 2, 3. Good stuff.
As Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. prepared for their upcoming fight, both fighters and their teams came together to do some media and promotional work. However, things took an unexpected turn when an unwelcome guest, Floyd Mayweather, showed up and caused a disruption. Tank Davis, on the other hand, was fully prepared for any confrontation, and tensions quickly escalated. A brawl broke out between the two, turning the meeting into a chaotic scene just before their big fight.
Gervonta Davis goes through Avila as
people around them tried their best to separate the two, Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather still managed to get a few hands on each other. Floyd had the last laugh, however, when he pushed Tank Davis. This was the first time the two had come face-to-face since their clash last April. The drama started when Floyd Mayweather did an interview with Fight Hype, where he criticized boxers who were more focused on luxury and fame than on improving their skills. The situation heated up when Mayweather even brought up Shakur Stevenson, made false claims about Tank Davis's fight, and mocked the Baltimore champion.
Those are lifetime losses. And you know, as long as you know you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
And has scored a knockout in over 90.
The situation became even more surprising when Floyd Mayweather not only took sides against Gervonta Tank Davis in his last fight, but also acted in a way that seemed out of character for a boxing legend. After Davis's loss, Floyd felt that his Instagram post about the fight being canceled wasn't enough. He went further by calling a fight that was clearly an easy win for Tank Davis, a 50-50 matchup. To make matters worse, Floyd even gave Frank Martin advice on how to beat Tank, adding fuel to the fire.
When he can sting you as quick as a tank can shoot its armaments.
This time, Floyd Mayweather's rivalry with Gervonta Davis seemed to consume him so much that he secretly reached out to Tank's opponent Frank Martin and gave him advice on how to beat Davis. Whether Frank didn't listen to Floyd's tips or if they just weren't enough, it's unclear. However, on fight night, Frank Martin put on a strong performance in the early rounds, but ultimately fell short. In the 8th round, just 1 minute and 49 seconds in, Gervonta Davis landed a powerful blow that sent Martin crashing to the canvas, earning Tank his 30th career win. The real issue wasn't just the fight itself, but the involvement of Floyd Mayweather, who had clearly been clashing with Gervonta Tank Davis. The two had one of the most talked about mentor versus protege feuds in boxing history. Ahead of the fight, Frank Martin shared in several pre-fight interviews that Floyd had been helping him in some way, possibly in an attempt to get back at Davis for what Floyd felt was disrespect from Tank.
Embrace guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting, and has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
Avila needed to
Boxing fans and experts were shocked when Frank the Ghost Martin revealed that he had been getting advice from Floyd Mayweather, who had been Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter. The two lightweight fighters faced off in the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th, where Gervonta Davis successfully defended his World Boxing Association title.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. You know, go do it when, cause.
As expected, there was a lot of trash talk leading up to the fight. Gervonta Davis was the heavy favorite going into the match. However, before the fight, Frank Martin appeared on the Pivot podcast on YouTube and revealed the advice he had received from Floyd Mayweather. Martin described it as being similar to the type of guidance Mike Tyson would give. Floyd's tips were meant to help Martin get the upper hand in his fight against Tank Davis.
My thing is, I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion.
Reacts to it and bombs away for Davis. All that confidence.
Frank Martin admitted that receiving advice from Floyd Mayweather gave him a unique feeling of confidence. In response to criticism, Floyd Mayweather fired back, saying, "I do what I want to do and support whoever I feel like. What's wrong with Frank coming to me for advice? If Tank came to me, I'd advise him too. So what's the problem?" Despite their past differences, Floyd had been in Gervonta Davis's corner for years, and Tank had always respected him as a former world champion. However, the dynamic changed when it came to the Davis vs. Martin fight, as alliances clearly shifted.
Become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great.
The tension between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather had been heightened by their highly publicized online argument last month. When asked if he had learned anything from Floyd before the fight, Frank Martin shared an example. "He could tell you to go run at 2 in the morning, because 9 times out of 10, your opponent is asleep at that time," said Martin, who is from Detroit, Michigan. While Martin didn't specifically train at that hour, he explained that the point was about gaining a mental advantage over his opponent. These small details can make a big difference in the end. Martin emphasized that the advice wasn't anything groundbreaking, but coming from someone like Floyd Mayweather, who's reached the highest level of the sport, it carried a lot of weight.
9 out of 10, we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, because you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
We saw in Avila in the first couple rounds has dissipated because of that cut, that body.
Frank Martin explained that when you take on challenging tasks like running at odd hours, it can give you a unique kind of motivation. Even if you can't perfectly replicate everything Floyd Mayweather suggests, it can still make you feel differently about yourself. Interestingly, this is similar to what Mike Tyson used to do before his fights to get inside his opponent's heads. Tyson, known for his intense training, would run at 3 a.m. and chop wood as part of his routine to gain a mental edge. However, despite all of Tyson's and Floyd's techniques, they couldn't stop Gervonta "Tank" Davis from carrying out his plan on fight night. Davis, who had spent a year away from the ring due to a hit-and-run case in 2022 and a 90-day stint in Baltimore prison, came out victorious. He won the fight with a knockout in the 8th round.
The claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He's the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
Despite the time away from the ring, Gervonta Davis proved that his skills hadn't been affected. He defeated Ryan Garcia in his last fight in April of the previous year and followed it up with a similar result against Frank Martin. Leading up to the fight with Martin, Mayweather stirred things up by suggesting that fans should watch UFC instead. After a back-and-forth exchange between the two on social media, famous boxing reporter Michael Benson reported on the heated situation.
He told Frank that he was giving Frank the tip.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word of mouth?
I seen
Body shots. Borrego drops back down to cover up his midsection, exposes.
The feud between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta "Tank" Davis continued to heat up, with Mayweather trolling Davis by posting that the fight against Frank Martin had been canceled. In response, Tank fired back, saying, "Keep talking and I'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." On Saturday, Davis knocked out Martin in brutal fashion. After the fight, Davis gave an interview where he revealed that Mayweather had been giving Frank Martin advice on how to beat him. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I knew for sure it wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool, it's all right. I don't think much of it. He's not going to hurt me, you know what I mean? It's better to beef with him than to be cool with him.
Oh, really? Yeah. So they were like spying her?
No. He got a club.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis revealed that it was actually Floyd Mayweather who told Frank Martin that Davis was running at 5 a.m. At one point, Tank expressed his willingness to settle things with Mayweather in the ring, even mentioning his name alongside his fellow competitors. During an interview with Davis Najee on Cigar Talk, they discussed the ongoing tension with Mayweather, and Davis gave a thoughtful response. "A lot of people don't know what Floyd is really doing. He was coming at me, and I knew for sure he was targeting me. That's why I went to him. There's no reason for me to go after Floyd unless he was coming for me first," said Davis, referring to Mayweather's initial comments that he felt were directed at him.
Oh, okay.
I knew for sure that wasn't going to be.
When Najee pointed out that over the years,
Stays up through the bell. Wow. Look at the windup. The subtlety.
When Davis Najee pointed out that over the years, the relationship between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather seemed like a mix of love and hate, Tank completely denied it. He confidently stated that he had already surpassed Floyd's legacy. "I'm at that point where I've passed him, and I'm doing it at a younger age," said Tank. But Davis wasn't done making his case. He went on to reveal that he had signed a new deal, which he claimed was even bigger than Mayweather's deal with Showtime in 2013, which was reportedly worth $200 million. "That deal I'm talking about, he doesn't know about yet. It's bigger than his deal," Davis said, referring to the new contract with PBC. However, he didn't disclose the exact amount of his new mega deal.
Yeah,
Care to elaborate on that?
out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Many fans were expecting Gervonta Davis to announce plans for a more active 2025, with more fights and major events under his GTD promotions. However, their hopes were dashed when they realized that his announcement was actually about his retirement. Now, at 30 years old, Davis is set to face off against Roach Jr. 29 on March 1st, where he will defend his World Boxing Association title for the second time.
For the sport? How many times do you want to get in the ring next year if it was your choice? 3 times. 3 fights for sure. How do you retire?
Sting you as quick as a tank can shoot its armaments. And at the DC Armor...
Fans had hoped Gervonta Davis would continue the momentum from his impressive victory over Frank Martin in June. Instead, he gave them an unexpected surprise. He's planning his retirement. Davis, 30, announced that his boxing career will wrap up by 2025. He explained that after next year, he's done with the sport. But why would he want to retire at such a young age? What about his fans and the drive to keep delivering great performances? It seems that the excitement of boxing is fading for Davis. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, he shared his thoughts on his decision to step away from the sport.
A homecoming fight, Tank Baltimore. How about a homecoming fight?
You lost the love?
Gervonta Davis, with his impressive 30-0 record, admitted that he's grown tired of boxing. He shared that he has lost interest in the sport, even calling it trash and garbage. These strong words are likely to upset many fans, especially those who had been pushing for him to take on tougher challenges and fight the best in his division. Despite this, Davis finds comfort in making strategic decisions, earning money, and doing what he enjoys most, knocking out his opponents.
Looked like you were talks about the time was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you...
Avila stays up through the bell. Wow. Look at
the big question now is how fans will remember Gervonta Tank Davis and what his legacy will look like. When asked about it in an interview with Fight Hype, Davis made it clear that he doesn't care about being listed among the all-time greats. He said, "I don't even care about that, bro. Where I'm from, I will forever be the greatest. I'll always be a G to myself." While fans will have just one more year to witness Davis's thrilling boxing style and his signature backflips in the ring, it doesn't necessarily mean his fight with Roach Jr. will be his final one.
You said you know your next fights. Can we know who they are?
Probably the Ryan. Hopefully.
Gervonta Tank Davis might still have a few more fights in 2025 before calling it a career. He's currently under a multi-fight deal with the PBC, which covers about 6 or 7 bouts, and even reportedly includes a fight with Shakur Stevenson. What will happen to these contract obligations if Davis retires early? It's unclear. The situation is still unfolding, and it remains to be seen whether Davis is truly set on following through with his retirement plan.
What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking.
Gervonta Tank Davis is set to return to the ring at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn this March, where he will defend his World Boxing Association lightweight title against current super featherweight champion Lamont Roach. At the launch press conference, Davis revealed that he plans to retire at the end of 2025. He also named 3 fighters he wants to face before he steps away from the sport. The first of those is Roach in March, and when speaking with Fight Hub TV, Tank mentioned that Ryan Garcia is likely to be one of his other 2 opponents.
To him. Who that? Keyshawn. Keyshawn looking way more better than this. I keep screaming his name. He haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done.
the wind-up.
The subtlety is gone in this fight. It's about Davis.
Gervonta Tank Davis faced Ryan Garcia in April 2023, where Tank knocked Garcia down twice before securing a 7th-round knockout to hand Garcia his first professional loss. Garcia is currently serving a 1-year suspension after testing positive for a banned substance following his fight with Devin Haney. However, he will be eligible to return to the ring in April 2025, possibly setting the stage for a summer showdown with Davis. Tank also mentioned that he would like to face Teofimo Lopez before retiring. When asked about it, Davis responded confidently, "Yeah, I'll fight Teofimo. I'll slap the hell out of him when I see him."
So what do you say to those who might be afraid? So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what?
Teofimo Lopez, the current World Boxing Organization super lightweight champion, won the title from Josh Taylor in June 2023 and has successfully defended it twice since. A fight between Gervonta Davis and Lopez has been a topic of discussion among boxing fans for years. Now, one fighter who has faced both men has shared his thoughts on how such a match might unfold. As for Davis's upcoming fight with Lamont Roach, he gave fans a preview at the official press conference. Davis formally announced the bout, scheduled for March 1st. There has been plenty of talk about his choice of opponent, and when Roach took the stage, he shared his perspective with the audience.
How much you want to bet? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want to bet? How much you want to bet? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a bet.
All that confidence we saw in Avila in the first couple rounds has dissipated.
Lamont Roach expressed excitement about his upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis, scheduled for March 1st. He acknowledged that right now he's not focused on all the hype, but he promised a thrilling event when the fight arrives. "It's going to be a great show," he said. "We've got 3 months to get ready, so it's going to be a good one. This is a huge opportunity, and I'm going to make the most of it." Roach made it clear that he was ready to face Davis head-on, stating, "Everybody knows what I'm here to do. If you don't, you're going to be in for a surprise." He went on to suggest that Davis took the fight to prove something to his critics, acknowledging that Davis knows he's a tough competitor. "He knows I'm a dog, and he wants to test his skills against me," Roach said. "But when 2 dogs step into the ring, we'll see who comes out on top, and it's going to be me." Then, it was Davis's turn to speak his mind about the matchup.
For you, in your next fight?
He has skills. Even though he's at a smaller weight class, I feel as though Lamont have, and he's one of the guys that...
During a Q&A session, both Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach took the opportunity to discuss the fight and other related topics in more detail. When asked about his planned fight with Vasily Lomachenko falling through, Davis explained why Roach was the next logical choice for him. He said, "Lamont has skills even though he's in a smaller weight class. He's actually one of the guys I came up with in boxing. He's still doing well. And while a lot of the guys I started with are not in the picture right now, people might not really know him. But he definitely has the skills and is a top opponent."
I actually started with, came up with in the sport of boxing. Still doing well. Everybody that's started with us.
Still in there fighting, but he got to get his hands up.
Oh, and couple big lefts.
Lamont Roach shared his thoughts on how his style will be different from the opponents Gervonta Davis has faced in the past. He said, "Skill-wise, I bring a lot to the table. I can adapt to different styles. I'm tough, gritty, smart, and witty. Whatever I need to pull out of my bag of tricks, I will." The others were either one-dimensional or just didn't have enough. Tank Davis has always been known for shocking the fans, whether it's with his knockout power inside the ring or his bold comments outside of it. However, the American fighter is starting to grow tired of always being in the spotlight. Instead of focusing on adding to his legacy and proving himself as one of the greatest, Davis might be thinking about stepping away from the sport earlier than expected. Fans have seen very little of him in recent years. After his legal issues, they expected him to return to the ring more often, and while he did face Frank Martin in June, his comeback has been delayed time and time again. Now, it seems he may be considering making his absence permanent. During the first official press conference for his fight with Lamont Roach, Tank revealed to the audience what they should expect from him moving forward.
Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously...
When asked about his plans for 2025, Gervonta Davis wasted no time in suggesting that he might retire. He said, "After next year, I'm out of it, out of the sport." His announcement didn't sit well with many fans who have grown accustomed to seeing him fight from time to time. They weren't shy about expressing their disappointment and frustration. flooding the comment sections with their thoughts. And that's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, moments, events, and more, make sure to stay connected with us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a quality update. Until next time, peace out.